or we are back again, same clothing, same thing, and I bet you probably wondering why, right? That's because this is the special edition segment of Meeting the Cast. We're gonna, just get to know us a little bit more. So definitely just want to start off by saying welcome back to Sierra, my boy Chris Henderson up top. And Chris, I'm gonna start with you, aka my man Hendo. I'm gonna start with you first because you the actor. You that actor on the come up, man. What's that? What's that?
Uh-huh.
What's that drive like? You know, to try to become an actor. I wanted to do some acting, but obviously I ain't take it as far as you have. So I just want to know like
Mhm.
your mental process behind that kind of stuff, dog. Like what brought you there?
Oh man, it's really hard to be honest. I mean, most people know that any being in the entertainment industry in general is hard. What what keeps me going really is just knowing that like I can't do anything else. Like it's either this or be in the military because even in the military, your life isn't normal. I just don't like having a normal life. It just bores me. Like I've had a job that paid me well when I got out the military,
Right.
and honestly, I didn't do anything. I literally would just go to work and I would hide. I would disappear. I knew my job very well. Like to be honest, like I would just hide out,
Yeah.
show up when I needed to show my face
Right.
on camera. I was making
Yeah.
good
You
money,
behind the
but
scenes. You behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I just didn't feel like I was necessary. Like somebody that really wanted to do what I wanted to do should have had my position. And that's how I
Mm.
feel about anything. So in general, I feel people should be doing what they love. It doesn't have to be your primary income, but you should always make time for what you do. But me, I want to do it full time,
Mhm.
and the goal is to basically get in the stunts because I want to be an actor that does my own stunts. And what just keeps I would say like it definitely has its ups and downs. Like I have days where I just don't feel as motivated, but um when it all boils down to it, I know I'm doing the right thing. So
Right.
it's just
Making the right move.
if you know it's in your heart, like just keep doing it. That's really
Yep.
all I can say about it. But with stunts is a whole different thing because, it's very technical. You gotta it's it's a lot of like physical work, but then it's acting too. So it's I think it's more challenging than acting because you have to work off of your partner, and your partner, whoever is the person on the receiving end has to sell it. Because if I'm throwing a punch at you and you don't pretend like you got hit, then it's just gonna look really fake. So
Mm.
yeah, I'm
Okay.
just out here in Georgia. I moved. For those of you who don't know, I'm from North Carolina. Well, I went to high school in North Carolina, so I say I'm from because that's where I basically grew up. But
Got
my
you. Got
family's
you.
in South Carolina. Uh, Spent time with Richmond or Andre in the military, and then I moved to California, and now I'm in Georgia, where it's considered Black Hollywood. So I've been getting a lot of opportunities out here because it's the truth. Like you come out here and you're Black and you're trying to be an actor or you're trying to be a musician, uh, you meet a lot of different people versus when I was in the Bay Area. I don't know about LA. I haven't explored LA too much. I might still do it, but who knows where this life is going to take you. So I'm just enjoying the ride and just,
Yeah.
yeah.
The best
Nah,
thing.
I
Yeah, you
feel it,
gotta
bro.
enjoy it. You're doing what you love to do. You gotta enjoy it.
No, I definitely feel it. Now I know for Sierra, you went to school, you became a
Yeah.
PR major, did some modeling, some photography. Tell us about that. Like, what sparks your inspiration to do those type of things? Like, where's your train of thought when you started doing those type of things?
Initially, even when I went to school, I was a screenwriting major when I
Mm.
started school.
Right.
Because naturally, what I wanted to do in the beginning was to be a writer. And I wanted to write fiction, but they didn't have that program at the school that I was going to, like a creative writing major. Like they didn't have that offering, but they did have screenwriting, and it was rather new program. So I was super excited about it. Probably stayed within that major for about a year. But I just think that I kind of got to a point where I didn't like putting so much pressure on my writing, like
Right.
with deadlines and, just having it being critiqued very in-depthly. And also, screenwriting and like creative writing are completely different. So, I was kind of even doing something that I wasn't even sure that I really wanted to do as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so pretty much like in college, I just kind of had to try to make a decision to, you know, change my major to something that might be a little bit more practical,
Mm-hmm.
and still made sense to who I was and what I wanted to do while still trying to write. And which was a weird decision to make because I'm like, I don't want to, be studying something I don't care about. But PR
Right.
and communications was something that kind of would have gone hand in hand with what I wanted to do anyway. Just as far as like knowing the business end of, the entertainment business and things of that nature, marketing and stuff like that. I also thought that those things would help me as well if I was still writing and wanted to get into that business. So that's why I kind of changed over to that.
Okay.
But modeling, I think, just came out of like me just having a lot of girlfriends in college. We had like a modeling team in college that was kind of like the group of people I kind of like clung to. And it was just really about like confidence, women's confidence. I was very sheltered probably in high school. I actually went to high school with Andre, but like I didn't have a lot of experiences from high school. So kind of like being in that program and being with other women just kind of empowered me to just be myself,
Build your
kind of
confidence.
learn, build confidence, and also
Right.
kind of like find where my confidence actually lies. Because I don't think I actually wasn't a confident person. I just didn't know where exactly to place it. So it kind of like narrowed me in on like who I was and what my image was and what I wanted that to reflect. So that's kind of what I got out of modeling. I like that kind of like self-reflection as always. And just kind of like the art you can create. Like it was another way to tell a story to me. Like pictures are like a story. You look at a picture and you can tell a story about it. So that kind of always tied back into me having kind of like that storytelling aspect of it. But yeah, super cool. I met a lot of cool people who are like photographers and people who are artists and tattoo artists and makeup artists and hairstylists who, do all of these different kinds of things, and then it all
Wow.
comes together into one. So
Right.
I've kind of always just been somebody who has completely too many interests. So like you have all these different pockets of
Yeah.
interest. Like I want to be a personality. I want to be a model. I want to be a writer or whatever. And it's just like, you just get so like fragmented on doing so many different things. You never actually hone in on one thing. So that's kind of
No,
always been my
I feel you on
double-edged
that.
sword.
Because
Yeah.
I feel you on that. I think most people in entertainment have multiple hustles.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Right.
I
Right.
definitely understand that.
Yeah, because a lot of people that I meet that like, all right, say this is the stylist, the hairstylist that's on set for the shoot I'm doing today. She's not just a hairstylist. She's like also a cosmetologist, or she also works doing like food photography, fine dining restaurants. Like
Right.
people who are doing so many different like creative things with their mind and things of that nature. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I was born in DC. I grew up in PG County. I'm based in Baltimore now, where I work a regular 9 to 5, but I still try to incorporate like all the things that I want to do, like especially even with this like podcast kind of thing. Like I think just growing up, like I think it's really important for Black women to have Black women voices that are multifaceted, and that's kind of like my goal. Like with whatever I do, I always want to make sure I show up as like a Black woman who looks a bunch of different ways, because I feel like we get put into this box where we
Right.
are this or we're that or we're that, like maybe like 3 choices and that's it. And like that's always been my thing, to like present myself as a multifaceted, multi-surfaced kind of
Right.
person.
So
So
making sure that you could tap into any type of bag and still put that representation on for you guys.
yeah.
I'm not mad at it at all. And I guess that's what Hendo was kind of saying, like in his same thing. He's a guy who likes to be in a lot of things. I know him for quite some time as well. I know him to do music at one point, and
Right.
I've even seen him show me some things. He's on stage trying to perform. He was a Marine, actor now. Like he got his
Right.
hands in a lot of different things, man. So that's like a lot of good things to take away from that. It's a lot
Yeah,
of good things to take away
absolutely.
from both of you guys, honestly.
The music thing is coming back though. I think I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah,
try to do the
say it's making a
Drake
return, right?
route. Yeah, I
Okay.
think I'm
Oh
gonna
wow, Jake Route.
They say,
yeah
hey, acting.
do music once you blow up after acting.
Hey, I'm not mad at that, man. It's a lot of
Yeah.
things. Um,
Yeah. And I
but
love music too. I just know I can't sing, but like I'm like big on like new music
mhm,
and like different kinds of music sectors. Like with my PR background, like image consulting and things are in that as well. So I've always thought of like managing people or doing like that kind of avenue and stuff. So
okay, so like trying
yeah,
to being
it's a
like an
lot going on.
agent, being like an agent in a sense, like
Maybe agent A&Ring, mostly manager. Like I think I'm more
gotcha,
interested in like image consulting and stuff like
gotcha,
that.
gotcha.
So yeah, I think I would definitely be more interested in that.
Okay, okay.
So
Yeah.
my man Andre with the with the music skills, the engineering and the mixing
Hmm.
and the
Yeah,
mastering and the
some sight,
recording.
Uh-huh.
some sight.
So
Technical skills.
how long have
Technical
you
skills.
actively been pursuing music? When did you take it seriously, first of all? And what do you enjoy doing more? Do you enjoy recording, or do you enjoy the process behind recording, like the mixing and adding
Um,
effects and all that?
if I'm gonna be honest, well, it's like, all right. So where I come from, I've been through the DMV, but basically born and bred. I've been some time in Virginia. I spent some time in DC. Most of my time been associated with PG County, as Sierra said. We both went to the high school, so that kind of thing around there. Obviously, you got to have some type of thick skin, because people up there are different than how people are everywhere else. Everybody got their own type of thing. So when I started doing music, I never really thought I was going to do music or anything associated with music. And it's funny because my older brother, I got an older brother, he used to do music. And I remember he used to go to the studio, make some music with some of his friends, and he'd come back and he'd be like, oh, what you think of this? And like, of course, I'd be like, oh, that joint cool. And like mess with him and stuff like that. But
Oh,
in the
it's
same
cool.
time, in my mind, I'm like, yo, this is dope. Like
Right.
to see somebody, because everybody hear music, but they hear somebody that making music,
Yeah,
and it's
Hmm.
like sound good. You like, yeah, that's kind of inspiring. I used to be thinking in the back of my head, like I used to write a couple bars down. I'd be like, nah, this not cutting it. This not what I heard. This not what I
Yeah.
heard. Nah, like just throw it in the trash. And then one day I was like, all right. And it's actually funny. And Hendo would know, like I used to actually take a speaker and my phone and play something off the speaker and rap off my phone, you know, to like try to mix it in together. It was probably like the worst piece of shit somebody probably heard. But it's cool though, because
No.
but it taught me a lot though. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna invest in it. I started getting me some equipment. I started mixing myself. It was never good at first, and I've been doing it for a few years now. So I started just kept investing, buying more studio equipment, starting to learn from like YouTube. YouTube is like the greatest teacher this day
Uh-huh.
and age. So I started learning all that stuff, and I'm like, all right, I can learn how to mix engineer myself. And once I started learning it, I'm like, okay, I can mix other people, and that's what started sparking my interest. I enjoy doing both. When I
Right.
make music, it's like a freedom of expression. It's like where I can put the most of me behind something, and I feel like that's what it is. Everybody got their, I guess you want to say, their cope or their escape, and like for me,
Hmm.
it's music. Rather I'm making
Right.
music or I'm the one producing the music, that's my thing. But like you both said, I like to be in a lot of different things. For people that don't know, I was in the military. I did Marine Corps. I got out, started taking my music serious, like my music engineering skills or my audio engineering skills. I knew I wanted to be like a personality. I knew like I got a lot of personality to me, and I'm kind of like an outspoken person. I'm like, boom, I want to do a podcast. And I'm like, all right, how we gonna get this started? I used to tell you about this all the time. And they were like, yo, man, podcast, dog, podcast. I'm like, because I know I wanted to do it. It's just like something I could definitely see myself doing. So um, I always I always told myself, like, a lot of people didn't believe in stuff I was doing at first, but as the years go on and they see the consistency, they start standing behind me like, oh, this is dope. This is cool. So for most people that's like listening, I would definitely say if you got something you're doing, definitely do that shit. And when you do that
Yeah.
shit, figure out how can I body it even more. And when you body
Yep.
it even more, now figure out how I can share it with people for they can body something. So I definitely say you got a goal in
Stick to
mind, just do it. Just
it.
do it.
Yeah.
Stick to it. You know, I would say figure out your insecurities and then master it. That's the way to be successful. If you insecure
yeah,
about something,
definitely,
if you
because
insecure,
that ties into music as well, from acting to being a musician. Because
mhm,
I learned, like, it's hard, it's challenging to record music in the studio versus doing it live, like in your own room, because you have the different sound quality from your background to being
right,
in the booth, and your voice inflections do count, because if you don't put your all into it, it's not going to sound the same. But you
right,
never know how you're going to sound behind a microphone, because you're always going to sound different. So I think that's the challenge as well. Also performing, because I met a lot of people that can make really good music, but they don't know how to perform because they don't know how to use the audience, or they don't know how to use the stage, or they might just be too nervous. So I think
Yeah.
you can learn a lot from different people. So I do think everyone needs help in some aspect, because you
mhm.
can pick up skills from everybody.
Yeah.
No, I,
Yeah. I
I
think that's
agree.
really important. Yeah.
I,
Just
I, I
meeting as
agree.
many people as you can and taking everything that you can from them, like if it's small or big, just adding it to your artillery of things to use for yourself. You know what I mean? That's pretty much what I do. Meet somebody, take a little bit of them, take a little bit of that, and put it all together.
No, I feel it. And most people be like, some people look at it like, oh, I don't need no help. They want to be seen as, oh, I did this on my own. I got it by myself. But I'm like, bro, like, don't be retarded now. Like, some stuff you can do on your own, but like, it's okay to take some help or have like a mentor or like somebody to help that's done it. Like, if somebody already made a path, why you gonna walk out in the woods?
Right.
Like, does that make sense? Like, why would you
Exactly.
not follow what they did and just add your own type of personality to it? But no, people minds just be, that's that masculinity. That being
I
people.
think like too, people are like, like especially within like the entertainment realm, whether it's like music or film, people want to be so authentic that like, we might think taking stuff from other people is like jocking their style, you know what I mean, or
Sure.
taking what they got, you know what I mean. But
Mm.
like I think it's all about wisdom. Like it's not like literally like, oh, I saw you wearing a pink scarf, that must work for you. Like obviously not, but like these conversations that we have about like things that we've gone through and the steps that we put towards getting the things that we want are all things that can serve you as well. So I
Okay.
think like people in the entertainment industry are always like, you want to be the one that stands out. So, you don't want to pass on that game to the next person, but it's just
Right.
like, it's all like, to me, like a circle of knowledge, you know what I mean? And of wisdom and of learning,
No, I definitely feel that. So I do got a
Mhm.
question for both of y'all. I want to definitely see y'all answer on this. So based off you guys, obviously, no one's gonna know you guys like you guys know each other. So like yourself, I should say. So what do you pride yourself on as your character? Like what are your main things that you pride yourself off of that makes you you? That makes you how you are?
That's difficult
That's a tough question.
I know it would
because
be.
you narrowed it down to three. You said three. I'm like,
Yeah,
gee, okay.
it's tough.
I think one I have to say is adaptable. I think
Mhm.
I'm very adaptable.
Okay.
Um,
For sure.
Yeah, I
uh,
always like when I ask a question and it gets you here. Or somebody starts doing this, that
yeah,
means
I'm
you got
like,
him. That means you got him. You like,
And I tie into that too because I feel like I don't have like obviously I have like people that I talk to on a regular basis like you, but I mean like when you see me, I'm able to be around different crowds of people and still be myself. Like I'm always myself. So I pride myself on being able to be around different cultures and different races because I don't just stick with one group of people per se. Like I really don't try to, obviously everyone has judgmental things in their mind, but I try my hardest not to judge as much. I might suggest something, but yeah, like I don't, I appreciate differentness in people. Like I don't want somebody to be exactly like me. So, um, yeah, I guess just to tie it in what she said, adaptability, being able to be around different crowds.
okay.
That's one thing. But you said three,
mm,
right?
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm, I'm
Look,
listening.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
good.
They
This is
ain't gonna take
good.
one of mine. Look, he just took one
Yeah.
of mine. You
Hey,
gotta do
yeah. He
four
said.
I
now.
mean,
He
it's the
said I heard
truth
you.
though. It really is
I
the
got you.
truth.
You gotta do
Yeah,
four.
yeah.
You
Okay,
took one. You
okay.
gotta do four.
I'm always because
Nah, no,
we're
you're
you
good.
like you said, we always doing different stuff. So
Yeah,
Nah, definitely,
yeah.
definitely. I know it's gonna be hard, so I don't blame y'all if it's like got y'all pondering y'all thoughts and things like that. Um.
I think I'm very like intuitive.
Mhm.
If that's a good
Ooh.
word. I can't really find the word that I want for it, but I can describe myself and it's like a whole bunch of different words that I want to use. But
I definitely
intuitive
understand.
probably.
Okay.
I think I've always kind of had like this like third sense of something. I don't know how to describe it, but like it just kind of works.
It
That
works
sounds
for you.
so like
No, yeah.
egotistical, but
No,
like
no, I don't. I mean, you describing what you really, you basing
I'm just
yourself off
describing
of.
my experience with
Yeah,
myself, really.
yeah.
Like
You
the
got to be
things that have
honest.
stood out to me the
I ain't
most.
mad at it. Honesty is number one. As long as people keeping that 100, I mean, what's somebody gonna say? You know what I mean? So,
Definitely,
um,
definitely.
I'll
see,
go. Okay, so I
okay,
pride myself in not smoking or drinking anymore, and I haven't smoked since the beginning of this year, and I haven't drank. Well, I did slip up with the drinking one time for my friend's birthday, but as far as just
celebration.
like drinking and smoking, like I gave it up completely. Like I don't want to do that stuff no more because I see what it does to me. Like I know, like for me, drinking, I'm not the best person when I'm drinking. Like I'm fun to be around, but like I'm sloppy and I like I'm
You don't like how you look.
clumsy. And then with smoking, I feel like it brings out this nonchalant personality in me, which for some reason I feel like people like it, but at the same time, it's like I get really paranoid when I smoke, and I like to be a thinker. I like to be expressive, so I feel like it hinders me in that way. Um, yeah, so I pride myself in that because it definitely slowed down my work. When I first went to California, I was smoking a lot, and I wasn't rehearsing my lines as much as I should have. I wasn't being on top of everything as much as I should have. I was just going to class and just getting high and just enjoying the scenery, really. But now that I've gotten used to that fast-paced lifestyle and I've seen it for what it is, like people can get caught up in that, I feel like, and that's how people end up homeless and different stuff like that. But that's a
You
whole
like to
nother
keep your
thing.
mind. You like to keep your
Yeah.
mind and your system free. Just to.
Yeah, and I
Oh,
just pride myself on not being
nothing
able to
wrong
be
with it.
peer pressured because people get so mad at me when I tell them I don't drink. Like I feel like that's a turnoff for some women too. Like when I meet girls now,
Well, you know
um,
what? I will say that because I've only recently been this that sounds bad, but I've only recently been meeting men who don't drink. And like I've always thought like, oh wow, well I'm first of all, number one, I'm gonna get drunk as fuck, sorry. But two, that is so cool. Like I like most of the time when I meet guys that don't drink or don't smoke or whatever, like I would have never thought. Like I would have never thought like they not like you have a look if you drink or smoke, but
Right.
like they're typically still just as social and just as active as everybody else. I think like in our minds when we think about people who don't drink and don't smoke, we think they're boring. But like, especially like now getting older, like I'm meeting people that like I was partying with and I thought they was drunk and it was just me drunk actually.
Right.
So
yeah,
it's like, it's like, I think especially the older we're getting with that, like it's truly just starting to become like obsolete a little bit. You know what I mean? Because like people are becoming so much more themselves where like that aspect isn't like so much of who you are anymore. You know what I
Right.
mean?
No, it makes
So
sense. No, it
yeah.
definitely makes sense. So I do respect it. You know, not smoking or drinking. Everybody got their own thing that they choose to do. So if that's the path
I
you
wanted
go,
to say one more thing. I don't think it's bad. I just think for my lifestyle, it's I can't do it because I don't have a consistent lifestyle. Like I'm very entrepreneur. Like so, like for anybody that has a consistent lifestyle, like a 9 to 5 or something like that, it's easier to do that because you have more of a set
Structure.
routine. Like
You have more structure that
yeah,
you can work around. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And you know that you have to work around. You know.
right.
yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
no, that makes a lot of sense. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that. That was a good one. Sierra, what about you?
I have to think of a
Um.
third now.
See, because now he said something that he's proud of himself. Where I thought we had to name like attributes. Like I can think of something I'm just like proud
No,
of. Maybe.
it's no offense on
You
it.
said something you
Okay.
pride yourself
Yeah,
in.
I just said something you pride yourself on. It was I ain't putting no fence around it. It's really
Okay.
just what's relatable to you, what you pride yourself off of.
Um.
That man, Hedo came in here hitting strong. He said he know he prided himself off. Hey man, take it out. I ain't
Nah, man,
smoke.
he stole one of mine and then kept the ball rolling.
No, he
Please,
did. He did
nah,
That's
grab it
that's
and
not
dapped
that's
up
it.
in
not
Like,
him. He did
fair.
nah,
grab
That's
it
don't
and
not
try to
dapped
do
up
fair.
in
all of
him.
that. Cause you
Hey,
said describe 3 things, and I'm trying to think of like
It's
actual
hard, man. It's
things.
hey,
hard.
no, it
So
I'm
is
not gonna
though.
blame
okay,
you.
It is though.
um,
It's a lot of things that go
I
into
don't
it.
know. I guess like I would say like I'm very like headstrong, maybe like there are times where I'm like, all right, I don't really care too much about that, you know. But even with situations like that, I'm very clear on that. Like I think that's something I pride myself on is just like precision and
Mm.
being like very transparent. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like I'm not trying to say, oh, I'm the realest nigga ever in the world, but I think like I've been through experiences where like it's so tiring for me not to be myself, where like I'm just like it's gonna be worse for you, worse for me, longer for everybody if I don't just be like very upfront with myself, because I'm very like night and day, right or wrong,
Mm.
black or white, like either it is or it isn't. So like I find that it's a lot harder for me to be less authentic.
Mm.
So I've gotten a lot more headstrong and just like very domineering and like with the things that I want and the things that I say, and just kind of like being precise on saying what I mean rather than not. So yeah, maybe that just kind of just being headstrong and strong willed, maybe.
No, I definitely get it.
Mhm.
I definitely feel where you're coming from. You basically saying you like to think that you got a nice strong head on your shoulders. Whatever comes with it, you always think of the
Yeah,
alternative.
I'm
You
rolling with the
always
punches.
right.
Bigger, I'm a big roll
You
with the
don't sit there
punches
and
kind of
complain.
person.
You don't. It hit you. You be
Well,
like,
no,
all
I ain't
right.
never say that. Never said that. I might
I tried to throw that in
complain.
there. I wanted to see if she's going if
Uh-uh.
she's going to say something.
See, I'm transparent.
No.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I
Okay,
might
yeah. No, no, no.
complain,
I threw that in
but
there.
like I'm gonna get it done. You know what I mean? I might
Nah,
bitch
for
about
real.
it, but I'm gonna get it done, you know?
Right.
So like yeah, I think
I
that's
feel it.
a big help in life. Like to just know that like you're gonna plow your way through shit regardless.
You're gonna
Yeah.
get through it. That's all you can
Hmm.
do. You can cry,
Hmm.
complain about
Yeah.
it, but at the end of the day, hey, you're
It's
gonna make
still
something shake,
happening.
or you
Yeah.
gonna make something shake. That's
Right.
your only two
And
options.
sometimes you gotta cry through it. Sometimes that's you
It
being strong
happens.
willed too, letting yourself do that so that you
It
can plow
happens.
through it a little bit stronger. So
I feel it.
mhm.
Hendo, you got your
Yeah. So,
get that
so
on.
my family, we're all from Charleston, South Carolina,
Mm.
and if you've never been there, it's very historical. It's a lot of white people, but there's also a lot of black people.
Mhm.
So yeah, so we're very country. I had a very we call it Geechee. I had a Geechee accent before I went in the military and met people from New York and everywhere, and it kind of shaped the way I speak today. So I don't know how I sound now, but yeah, with that being growing up in the South, a lot of my family didn't travel like that. Actually, no, nobody that I know in my mom's side of the family has ever been to California except me. So I
Oh
pride
wow.
myself in traveling across the country and to another country because I don't know nobody that's been in another country too. My
I don't know,
family
that
really
is
didn't
cool.
travel like
That's
that.
dope.
So yeah, I just pride myself on just getting on that plane and going to see other places because my mom was trying to talk me out of moving to California. Like she's begging me not to go.
Yeah.
So
Mm. I feel it, man. Hey,
No, it's cool. See the
that's
world,
dope.
man.
That's dope
yeah,
that you actually get to tell that back though for people that you don't know. Like you said, you put
yeah,
it
Yeah.
perfect. Like people that you don't know so far that you got that on your shoulders. You don't know. You might have some nieces, nephews, cousins that's like, yo, that's really dope what he doing. Like, all right,
I'm
let me
trying to do
step my
that.
game up. Let me step my game
Mm.
up before I could go see something different. I just been seeing the same thing. So that's kind of inspirational in a sense. So I respect it. I
Mm.
respect both of y'all answers all the way through. So I think it's only fair that I give mine, right? So
yeah.
Yeah,
Yo
you
three,
had
yo
so much
three.
time to think about them. I'm sure you
Yeah,
wrote them
right.
down.
Hey, they
Took
said
us
no.
30 minutes.
Nah, I ain't write nothing down. But mine's is simple. I pride myself on definitely being accepting. I don't think it's really anybody that I ever meet that I don't give them a fair chance. I don't ever
Hmm.
cross anybody out. I always take everybody in for what they are. Anybody that knows me know that for a fact. Like you bring
Hmm.
somebody around, I treat them with the biggest hospitality ever. Whatever I
Hmm.
got, if I can give it to you, you got it. You know, like I don't ask for nobody to pitch in for real. I don't ask for nobody to give me nothing. If I do it, it's just off the strength of me doing it, just to be me. This ain't like if I
Just
invite you somewhere,
kind.
if I
Hmm.
invite you, if I say, come through, we're gonna relax, we're gonna drink, we're gonna have a good time, then I'm not asking for nothing from you, you know what I mean? So I'm just always accepting everybody. Like you said, Hendo, I try not to judge everybody. Anybody who says they don't have judgmental thoughts is a liar. Like
That's
you have
true.
you
That is
every
very true.
your mind thinks first. So if you see
yeah,
something and it's not familiar to you, you're already judging it. But
Yep.
it's how
yeah.
you speak on it that's the difference. So I don't speak on it and I treat everybody the same. I'm a big family person. Like I love my family to death. That's like probably like my number one thing. Like
Hmm.
I always go check on my moms, my grandma, my brothers. Like
That's good.
I'm big on my
Yeah.
family, man. I'm big on my
Definitely
family.
got
I
to
love
be that way.
family. No, I always felt like that because when I was growing up, me and my brother was like the same age, so we did a lot of things together. Like we was always close because we grow up the same age, so always been family since day one. And so that's not even just immediate family. Like my brothers that's not my blood brothers or like the
Right.
sisters that's not my blood sisters. Like it's just like that with me. If you consider family, I do 1,000 and beyond to check on you and things like that. So I always do that. And then I like the grind, man. Anybody who say it don't, I think it's fun. A lot of people be like, oh man, and be complaining, but I think it's fun to do a lot of different things. Even if I'm not good at the shit, I'm gonna have the experience and I'm gonna have the
Right.
knowledge. So if I see it, I'll know more in depth of what's going on. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah,
You ever work somewhere like you work at a fast food restaurant? You ain't never know how they was cooking your burgers, but now you know.
Now you know
You,
there's some pocket of
you
knowledge you
feel
didn't
me?
have.
You
Yeah.
pull up now and you like, oh, we waiting 5 minutes. You're like, oh yeah, it do take 5 minutes to cook this burger. All right, it makes
Hmm.
sense. Hey, go do your thing. You know what I'm saying? Like just a little bit of knowledge from different aspects of life. It's like it opens your mind to a lot of different things. So that's why I
That's
always
true.
like
That's
to.
very true.
That's why I like to do a lot of
Mhm.
things. Like even if I don't succeed at it, I will always remember it. Like
Right.
I decided to do a podcast. If I never even made it with this podcast or anything, right? At least I will have the knowledge of what it's like to do it,
Right.
the feel,
Exactly.
the environment, or the feel you get that's from it. So I like that's what I pride myself on. Those are my big top three things
Those
that
some
I
good ones.
always tell myself when I wake up in the morning what I do it for, and that's the reason right there. You feel what I'm saying? So I think everybody answers was good. Don't let me feel
They
like
were good. Yours were so good. Yours
Nah,
were so cohesive. Yours were good. Yeah.
no. All y'all's was good. Don't just take away from because I was the last person speaking. Like you made great points, man.
Yes.
Evelyn, you know, a lot
Yes.
of things that you do. Sierra, a lot of things that you do. So before we get out of here, this special edition of y'all getting to meet us a little bit more. And y'all still gonna get to meet us a lot more as we go along.
Yeah. Through us
You know,
talking. Yeah.
you're gonna start to find out us, what we our little things that we got, little characteristics that you might see. But this is just like on surface for you can like see us
Just
from
a
like a
general.
standpoint, just a
Mm-hmm.
general, like a base to
Mm-hmm.
build off from, and it's just gonna keep going as
Shoot,
time
we
goes.
gonna learn more about each other as the topics keep
Exactly.
rolling in. We might
And
not, we
Exactly.
might think we
you
know
know,
something about each other, and then we like,
Yep.
what
and
you
Get
that's
thought?
that's the
surprised a
beauty.
little bit.
That's the beauty. That's the beauty behind it. Once again, as always, I'm glad to have these two, hold me down on the podcast. When I said I was gonna do this, I always told Hendo, like, we gotta make it work. And then we finally found a third. So this is
Mm-hmm.
dope for me. It's dope to have y'all.
Yes. Thank you
Thanks
guys.
again to both my co-hosts. We got Christopher Henderson, we got Sierra. You know, we out here, the Millennial Peak Special Edition, knowing the cast. Tune in for episode 6 that will be coming later on. And y'all have a good one.
Thanks, guys.